Hello, I'm Philip from the Blue Mountains in Australia, not the Blue Mountains in Middle-earth. Say hello to my Hobbit Warden, Falco. He's going to take us on a little adventure. I've been recently catching up on episodes of Exploring the Lord of the Rings with Professor Corey Olsen. And I'm still a long way behind. I'm up to episode 20, but what I have noticed is that Corey has a big fixation on the Brandywine Bridge. So, here we are at the Brandywine Bridge, and I just thought that I would talk about the Brandywine Bridge because Corey had brought it up so often. In thinking that this is not the original bridge, this is a much later bridge. I can't answer that, but I believe I can shed some light on the original bridge across the Brandywine. I believe that the game developers of LOTRO have added some very tantalizing clues and hints as to where that bridge was. So, and it took me a little while to work this out, but I will take you on the route that I have taken to work out this mystery. It is only a hypothesis, but I believe I may be on the right track. So, I'm going to take you into Newbury through here. This is where part of it started. Now, in one of Corey's streams, come into Newbury, I have a recollection that he did talk about Newbury and the building materials in Newbury. As you can see, there are quite a lot of these stone arches, stone pillars everywhere, and the comments that, and also the chimneys. There is quite a lot of stone used in the buildings here. The comments from Corey was he didn't know where the stone came from. Now he has also noted later on in some of his streams that being on the Brandywine, a major trade route, the stone could have come from other places and been shipped in. As you can see, more of these stone pillars here. And this chimney up here is also made of stone. So there is quite a lot of stone in Newbury, but no source. I think I have an idea about the source of the stone. But first, let's come over here. Early on in the game, I came across these three characters here who are associated with Adzo's camp, halfway in between Buckland and Bree on the east-west road, and they have some quests about hunting some bears and boars, hunting some mushrooms, and Ted over here, he wants you to hunt a little bit of everything, including bears, boars, and wolves. And where do you find these creatures and mushrooms? Well, come with me. Just through the Newbury Gate. You just come over this little rise here. And as you can see, there are wolves here. There are another wolf. There are bears over here. And down in the swampy area, you will see mushrooms and a few slugs as well. So you can come down here and collect some mushrooms. It really brings you down into here. Now, the first time I came into here, I was quite intrigued by the swampy area, and it just seemed very strange. There are no other swampy areas along the Brandywine in this area. And when I had a look at it closely, I also discovered that there was no stream or anything feeding this particular bit of swamp. So I thought, well, what would be the origin of the swamp? So I came up on the hill here and had a closer look. And what I discovered is that this swamp is a very regular shape in an irregular environment. It's very rectangular, square rectangular. It looks as if something has been excavated out of here down to such a low level that the waters of the river have just come over here, and of course all the silt flowing down. You can see how brown the water is, so there's a lot of silt in the water, and the water would come in here and the silt would just deposit. So it's tended to become a swampy, marshy area, but a very regular area. Too regular to be natural. So, to find out more, we need to go over to the other side of the river. So let's come over here and we'll cross over on the current Brandywine Bridge, which, as we've discussed before, or Corey has discussed before, is too low to allow large ships to come through here. So come by the bridge in, and I'm going to take a shortcut over here. Let's see if I can get over the river without losing my horse. Hey, I got over the river without losing my horse. I'm going to come over here, and this area over here is called the Bridge Fields. Now, Corey has taken his stream over here before, and I've often looked at these ruins and been quite fascinated by them. They are quite unique, being quite long. There are no other ruins that are quite this long, and there are a few breaks in the walls. I was also taken by the fact that just at the end here, you have this relatively flat area here. I got caught on that rock. Which comes over to quite a steep cliff here. But when I had a look at this cliff, I noticed that to me it didn't look entirely natural. I looked at these cliffs along here and just thought, like it seemed to be too close to the river and it doesn't look exactly like some of the other cliffs here. I mean, and over in this direction, this embankment continues, and it's pretty much right to the edge of the structure here. There are no broken off columns that have fallen down there. The broken off columns are pretty much kept in this particular. Hey, got up here. So I got up onto the Bridgefield walls. Don't manage to do that very often. And once again, I am fascinated by what this ruin would be. It's longer than it is wide. This seems to be the extent of the width. It went a little bit further than here. It is broken, but it's much, much longer. So I'm going to jump down over here and see if I can climb up on the wall. I have climbed up on the wall before. I'll see if I can do it. I do need to be on a steed to be able to climb up. There we go, I'm up. And I just need to cross over there. Okay, fairly high here, which is good. And once again, you can see that it's only as wide as this wall here, but it is quite long heading towards the river. So if I come over here, onto this side here, can't really see past, can't get past this tower here. But I think the land has been eroded away here quite significantly. But I think this was the extent of the height of this particular structure. Fairly high, but sort of only a couple of stories tall. Now I'm going to hop down off here and go onto the next piece of the wall down here, because I want to come right out to the end here. I need to be on my steed to get up here. There we go. But I might hop down now, and I'm going to run along this little wall here. As you can see, quite high. And I'll run to the end here, hopefully not break the leg. Okay, so here we are, Numenorian Star on this structure here, right before the river's edge. And if I come over the edge here, it's pretty much just opposite the swampy area, the very regular shaped swampy area that I thought that had material excavated and material removed, a lot of stone. Maybe you can see where I'm going with this. I believe that this is the location of the original bridge over the Brandywine. And if you look at the height of this would have been tall enough to house some good-sized arches to let sailing ships through that wouldn't have had the problems that the current Brandywine Bridge has over there. Also, if you look at this swamp area over here where the other abutment would have been, it's round about the same width as the piece of land that stretches between the Shire and Bree. The current road only is a small road, and it winds its way through this area all the way up to Bree. But by the width of this and the width of where we are standing, it's sort of the width of these ruins in a way corresponds to the width of this swamp area. And so I'm guessing that the road, fairly wide, came along here, came up bridge over here onto this side here, and this was the southernmost side of the bridge, and then it extended right across to the extent of the ruins over there. Possibly there would have been another one of these structures over in this area here, but there is no remnant of that at this time. And I'm just going to take you and show you a couple of other things that I think will help with this argument. And if we follow, as you can see, this is it slopes down significantly down to the river there, but the slope peters away down here. So I'm thinking this was an artificial slope to build the roadway on that would have come over the bridge. And considering that it was a major, the river was a major trade route, this could have been like a toll station. Maybe they would have taken taxes from produce that was coming up. So this flat area over here, I'm guessing, was a continuation of the roadway, which made its way down here and followed the line of these cliffs over here. And at this point I'm just going to go and have a look at the map of the Tolkien's original map of the Shire. So here we are looking at Tolkien's map of the Shire. I don't know whether my cursor is showing up on this, it probably isn't, but just above just to the left of the Brandywine, the Barrenduin, and north of the east-west road, you can see in capital letters curving down here, it says Bridgefields. I think the name is fairly telling that these are the fields where the bridge used to be. It's also curving down, possibly just to fit in that area. But what I noticed here is that there's the water, the the water that comes from Hobbiton all the way down into Brandywine cuts through the word Bridgefields round about the D and the G. But just to the left of there, we have Budgeford. So let's go back to our game stream, and let's follow this embankment down to its natural conclusion. And if we follow this, it has a fairly steady slope to it. Of course, we come into Budgeford, which still makes use of the stone, because there is plenty of old relics here. But I think that the shape of that old roadway naturally leads it down to the position of this ford here to cross over. So the main way into this area of Arnor would have been down this hill and to cross over the ford here to get into the more arable parts of the Shire over here. So I know Corey has been to the lost my pony. I know I can lose my mail in a particular part of the fort, but I've never lost my pony there before. So just in wrapping up, I think Tolkien always knew or had in his mind from the positioning of the word Bridgefields on the map. He always had in mind that that's where the main river crossing for Arnor used to be, and so the game developers have quite nicely put in this considerable ruin here, and tied it in quite nicely with the swampy area on the other side, which fits in quite neatly with the width of the passage that is given for the east-west road. So I hope that's plausible. I like to think that it is, and once again, as I said, I don't think I have answered I don't think I've answered the question about the existing Brandywine Bridge, but I think I've answered the question as to where the original bridge would have been in the game. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I will catch you next time that I think I've filled in some of the blanks that Corey hasn't quite worked out in his streams, and I'm happy to add my bit to it. Bye now.